I'm gonna be the king of the pirates. Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me for Chronicles in Collecting, where we're going to take a look at the DX Chogokin Thousand Sunny. This figure came out in January 2021 and retailed for about $320. This is the ship belonging to the Straw Hat crew, the main characters of One Piece, the nearly 1,000 episode long anime that started in 1999 and is based on a manga that has been running in Shonen Jump since 1997 and is over 1,000 chapters. Naturally, there are a large number of spin-offs, movies, and every piece of merchandise imaginable. It's one of the most popular shows in Japan, and let's see if the good folks at Bandai did the Straw Hats proud with this release. I'm a pretty big fan of One Piece. I've not really made it very far through the series. I attempted it once and made it about 30 or 40 episodes before I gave up. But I have been reading the manga. The manga's well over 1,000 chapters now, and I've read a little bit over 1,000, so I'm probably up to date as of like May or June this year. I haven't liked it as much since the time skip, but it's still a great show, a lot of fun. It's kind of a hard thing to recommend to people, but the mangas go down a lot easier than the episodes do. But let's see what we got here with this figure. To sort of loosely summarize the plot, it kind of takes place in a world very different than ours. There's a lot of little islands. Mostly the world is covered in ocean, and there's a lot of different sort of pirate groups. Some of them are good guys. Most of them are bad guys. A couple of them are good guys. We kind of follow the plot of the Straw Hat gang, but I think one thing that's really cool about it is that it's pirates are a group that are typically kind of like bad guys, and they're certainly not law-abiding, but they are the protagonists of the series, and they are sort of generally speaking, good people. I think another thing kind of about the world of One Piece is that the government is fairly corrupt, even though there are some good people. It's sort of run by these elites that kind of treat everyone else as basically their servants. There's a lot of kind of various racisms against different groups, because there's these, there's talking fish and mermaids and kind of all that jazz. Let's try to get this on the stand here ASAP, because it doesn't seem like this thing is going to stand all too well without it. This is sort of the main, mast that has their symbol on it, which is obviously a crossbone with the signature straw hat. And I should also mention that this is actually the second ship that they use in the show, and it's actually kind of the first one that's tailor-made for the crew. So there's a whole bunch of little just kind of little sub-ships and stuff like that, so you can kind of see they were recreated here. And I believe that all of these can either be displayed outside on the stand, or they do all kind of gimmick inside of inside of the ship, like they do in the book. Oh, sorry, in the book or the show. As you can see, there's just lots of little crazy gimmicks and stuff like that. And I guess in the show, the ship can go underwater, and at one point it flies. I think that's when they had this version of the ship. It also came with a really cool full color instruction. So this figure was actually a lot of fun to put together, and it was actually very easy despite having all the little pieces. It kind of felt a little bit like a Lego set. So there's a lot of cool stuff that I wanted to draw attention to. So first is this kind of cannon in the front here. So you do that, it comes right out, so that's really cool. Getting it back in's a little bit more annoying, but that went better than the last time. You got this fin that kind of goes back and forth. That's cool. As you could kind of pretty clearly see from the front, you could actually take the kind of front of the ship off so that you could see the inside, but then it clicks back on so you could see inside all the rooms and everything like that. And then what I think is probably one of the coolest things, so like I said before, you kind of got all these little guys right here. So what's actually really cool is this thing opens up. Things opens up, and you could actually have a little ramp that comes out. But what actually makes it even cooler is that this entire thing rotates around, and you could actually store all 5 of them in, and each one of these opens up individually. And you could store all those little vehicles that shoot out from it. And you don't actually have to do it like this. There's comes with a little crank piece that you kind of open up this little trap door and then you could like crank it around, but it's probably, you know, it's easy enough to do it like that. So this figure was a ton of fun. It was really concerning me because it had like all these little figures and I was kind of afraid that everything wasn't gonna like go in just right, but it wound up actually, you know, the instructions were pretty clear, the instructions were nice, they were in color, and no real complaints there. There are a few parts that were kind of a little hard to get in. I think specifically this sort of like back mast piece. It doesn't really show it in the book, but you kind of got to screw it in, not just push it in. So that was kind of giving me some trouble until I fortunately figured that out. And the only other thing that I kind of had a concern about are the, I don't know what these things are called, but these things right here, it was really hard to click them into, click them into place, and it felt like there was too much tension, like they were gonna like break or something like that. So one of them I kind of just sort of have sitting here. You can kind of like tuck it under here, and it's probably fine when it's not on the spinning thing. But yeah, I don't know if that's just mine. Maybe it is supposed to be that tense, but it just kind of seemed like something to me that was going to break. Anyway, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, I'd appreciate a like or subscribe, and if you didn't like it, complain about it in the comments. I normally do anime reviews on Monday, and I do figure unboxing every Wednesday. And please join me next week, where we're going to take a look at the Providence Gundam from Gundam Seed. Thanks so much, and keep collecting.